Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm joined here by Linda Schucroft, who is Director of Innovation at Vancouver Airport Authority. So Linda, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks for having me.
My first question for you is, tell me about your innovation team and the journey that it's been on.
Yeah, so innovation and entrepreneurship has been a huge part of YVR's DNA. We've always had some sort of innovation program that's eventually turned into products and solutions launched at the airport. And at present, we recently revamped and relaunched something called the Innovation Hub. So our mission of the Innovation Hub is really to create an ecosystem where we bring partners and collaborate and use our airport and its physical and digital assets to actually build an ecosystem to help BC's economy.
And what is the most interesting problem that you're currently working on?
Well, I think the problem that all airports are working on is how do we make a passenger's journey efficient, right? So in Canada right now, there's lots of lineups and we're all over the news because of security screening, wait times, and things like that. So right now our focus is on how do we continue to improve our passengers' experience at YVR.
And what changes in behaviour have you observed in your passengers? And how do you collect data and observe your passengers in the first place?
How do we collect data and observe our passengers? That's interesting. So I think we have lots of privacy laws on how we can actually collect personal information from passengers, but walking on the floor is always, I say, the best way to actually observe passengers, visiting other airports, seeing how other airports do things differently. And so I think from a passenger's standpoint, as they're trying to recommence traveling and especially leisure traveling and getting, they want to feel confident about coming into an airport, both from a safety standpoint with the pandemic and also just to be efficient, right? So they're looking for efficiencies. They have a lot of anxiety and worry already coming into the airport, coming out of the pandemic. And now there's wait time issues, right? And so they're really relying on airports and airlines and governments to, I guess, facilitate their journey. So that's kind of what we're working through right now as an industry.
I just want to pick up on what you said just there about working with other airports. I really like that. What other airports in the area or perhaps internationally do you collaborate with and knowledge share with?
Well, I think forums like this, Future Travel Experience, are great because I think the more I come to things like this, the more I get out of speaking with my colleagues across not just North America, but internationally, right? Is how do we innovate? How do we push change? How do we change the passenger experience? So listening to the panels and the discussions, but also the one-on-one interactions with our colleagues. So we do a lot of that. So information and data exchanges between airports that we can, again, we all have the same goal, which is, to have more planes taking off and landing and passengers coming and going. So, yes.
And how are you anticipating the next big thing in air travel? And what is the next big thing?
So the next big thing, I think it's about the metaverse. And as you know, the theme of this conference has been around the digital twin. So the digital twin definitely is a metaverse where we're taking all of our physical assets and putting it into a virtual world. So far, I think the benefits that have come from the digital twin are experienced by employees and internal stakeholders, but the passenger hasn't quite experienced that. So I think there's a really big opportunity where we can leverage our digital twin to get a passenger to actually change their experience. And what I mean by that is, wouldn't it be cool for you to sit in your house the night before your flight and figure out where the airport is, what it looks like inside, what does the lounge look like if that's something you want access to, what are your food options, seeing everything in a 3D model and obtaining information as you need it. I think will be really cool if we're able to bring that through into the passengers' hands.
Now, non-aeronautical revenues have become very important for airports in the aftermath of COVID-19. So what is your team doing to try and innovate new revenue streams?
So at YVR, we're always known to actually innovate and bring in non-aeronautical revenues. So we had a really big product line called BORDERXPRESS, and that contributed non-aeronautical revenue into the airport, which got reinvested back into the airport where we can do different things, capital projects, or enhancing the passengers' journey. So we're continuing to do that. So everything that we do, first and foremost, we want to make YVR better, and then if there's a commercial opportunity, then we look at the business model on how we can turn that into non-aeronautical revenue and reinvest back into the airport.
And can you give us an overview of the digital passenger experience at your airport? How far does it go?
So the digital passenger experience is coming along, I would say. I think YVR and all the other airports are working towards a common goal, as I mentioned, which is to digitize the passenger experience. So we are working on a few things that the information is a bit commercially sensitive right now, so I can't talk through it. But I think in about a year and a half or so, the experience that a passenger has when they come through YVR will really be remarkable.
I'll watch out for any news on that then. Now, where is Vancouver International on its digital transformation journey, would you say?
Yeah, so I think we have been digitizing YVR for the last few years now, and we continue to do that with the way in which we, I guess, introduce solutions and technology and leverage those things. But it's also not just about digitizing an airport, it's also about adoption, right? So there's a balance between introducing technology and making sure that everybody's ready for it from both the passenger and an employee standpoint. So I think we're probably quite far along relative to other airports, but I also think we have a lot of work to do in terms of getting passengers and employees to adopt the solutions and the technology that we introduce.
And my final question for you is, what is your vision for the passenger journey through your airport in the future?
Well, the vision really is for passengers to come in, preferably not see too many people and not stand in too many lines, have information beforehand, and be able to shop and dine and know what they want to do in terms of experiences. Do they want to use a yoga room? What options do they have for food and beverage? So to do all of that before they even come physically into the airport. And then when they actually come to the airport, their experience should be one that is seamless, meaning no lines, things are reserved beforehand, and they just walk through and they're able to actually have a proper experience, because our airport is quite beautiful, where they can relax and shop and eat and dine and not worry about the processes and the wait times and all the things that stress you out as a passenger.
That sounds lovely. And that you have a yoga room.
One day, yeah.
Linda, that was my final question. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Holly.